So recently I happened to come across this book by Ande Kozi, that's known as the Fishing Fleet. And what I get to know about the book is it's all about husband hunting during the British Raj in India. So उस time का क्या matrimony site types था ये? What was it exactly? What's husband hunting then?
So when East India Company came to India, along with them came a lot of officials, administrators, soldiers, and people, and even businessmen, the eligible men. And so the women in Britain found that there are, so the book says so that there are no eligible men to get married to, and during that time, unmarried women, after mid-20s were considered off the shelf. It was during this time that East India Company took in consideration the thoughts of the women and also the men who were here, and then they started something called as the fishing fleet, which you mentioned. So this was where women from Britain came, sailed to a foreign land, which was India, in search of eligible men to marry.
Okay.
And उस वक्त उन्हें 300 pounds allowance दिया जाता था, और उन्हें कहा जाता था कि within a year you have to find a prospect to marry, and if you do not find one, you have to do that undesirous return, and then once you reach Britain you are considered not good enough, because you couldn't find somebody in a foreign land like a British or so this was the fishing fleet wherein women came here to catch the fishes, to catch the men for marriage. And this, I think, was also perhaps done to not allow the British and the Indians to mingle.
Okay.
So they shouldn't marry an Indian, or Indian shouldn't marry. So this was done. So उन्हें वो 300 pound allowance दिया जाता था. They would, and on their way they were elderly ladies would elderly women would accompany them, and then they were taught in how to dress and how to cook, how to behave, how to
fall, meet the parameters of the good one.
the good wife, and along with courtship, along with love, along with how to make love,
Okay.
and how to run a household, and all these things were taught to all these affairs were taught to these young ladies who would just hop on to just come to a land, because the prospect of not only having an eligible man to marry, but also a land of riches. Here when they come, they had all the luxury. They would just live a life of a mem saab, as what they would have been called. They had servants running around for them, and they lived a life of luxury. So it was with that dream that they came here to find the dreamy one, who would do in a foreign land. So that was your fishing fleet that came to India.
What would be the just around the age when when they would be a part of the fishing fleet? And
So anything below 25 or 23.
so there is no point that, like, how we say that the term when we say adult, right? So we have this tag of 18 is the reason we should give credits to World War, right? Generally of people of that age, teenagers of that age were being deployed, so they were bound to be, they were given the right to vote, because it was their rationale that if we are being sent to wars, then we should also be able to vote, cast our votes. That was the age of 18. So was there any such age that was would be fixed, like, okay, you have turned 18 or 19 or 20 now?
So it was definitely like the age factor that, because it was that during that time that women it was said that women should not have a mind. So once you, as you start growing older, and you have your opinions, you speak them up. And it's not that young people do not do that. I'm not trying to say that, but it was that time where it was said that as a woman grows older, she has her own opinions, and then a woman should not speak. A woman should not. She had no right to give any of her opinion. Was the whole point of this fishing fleet to you know send all these young maidens to find a good to be a good wife for the eligible men in here. So that was one of the reasons. So when the crown took complete control of India, there were a lot of men who started coming to India as whatever positions they were on. That is when India became a breeding ground for good fishes. It was harboring good fishes, and a lot of fishing fleets started coming in. So
Any such fleet for Indians?
no fleet for Indians. No.
We were just into wars.
Yes, we were just into wars, fighting for the British. Yes, that was it. And I think it was mainly to stop British and Indians from mingling and having any affairs or marriages. Because I think this book also mentions of one such incident where a Maharaja from Patiala married a fishing fleet girl, and they were not considered a part of a society, and then their child was poisoned.
Oh.
So these were the extremes that were happening during the British Raj as well. So this fishing fleet was just so that, of course, women could come here and have a luxurious life, and men should not mingle with Indians.